Welcome to What the Mom podcast. You are listening to Doulas Petra
and Jacqueline.
Motherhood can be isolating and hard.
We are two doulas who want to provide a safe place to talk about all things mom.
From pregnancy
to birth
to postpartum
to parenting.
Join us as we have real conversations about real life.
Welcome to What the Mom podcast. You're listening to Doulas,
Petra,
and Jacqueline.
Thanks for joining us again.
Woohoo!
If this is your first time, welcome.
Yay! Thanks for joining us. This is episode, 23?
I think it's 25.
What?
Yeah, 25.
25. Wow, yeah. Look at us.
In fact, I was telling my son that we were doing another podcast, and he goes, "What? How many is this? Like 10 now?" I'm like, "No, it's like 20 something." And he's like, "What? That's too many podcasts." I said, "Yeah, it is a lot."
Yeah, we have been doing it for a while now. It's crazy. I didn't know it was that much.
Well, today's topic is a fun one. They're all fun, but
yeah.
It's about baby milestones.
Woohoo!
So
that's a fun one.
Yeah, these are kind of just like guidelines that they're approximately what like a healthcare provider would look for.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean your baby has to be like exactly at this timing. Sometimes it's a little bit earlier, sometimes it's a little bit later. There's usually a spectrum that they look at, but this is like the generally speaking kind of scenario, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. It's not one size fits all.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like one thing that they say when they're like they're looking at baby's weight and, they want them to be a certain weight, in the certain percentile.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't necessarily mean anything. Our kids are in really small ones. So 2 of them are actually, no, one is in a really low percentile. The other one's like average and the other one is more high. But anyways.
Yeah.
Never know. Every kid is different.
Yeah. The key is that they're developing and growing at like a steady rate.
Yeah, that's what they're looking for.
Yeah. So I guess we'll just go from like newborn until 1 year, 12 months. That's kind of the period when postpartum doulas will come and provide hours for you. Is in that first year of life. So that's kind of what we'll go through.
Yeah.
So as a newborn, when they're first born, they really only communicate one way.
By screaming.
Yeah, that's crying. And because they haven't learned anything yet. They literally just came out of the womb. So all they can do is cry. So when they're crying, they're not trying to manipulate you. They're not trying to get their own way. I have heard people say this.
Oh my God.
I have heard people say this. Don't hold the baby too much. You'll spoil them. They can manipulate you. No, they can't. Not as a newborn.
Oh my goodness.
You've never heard that before?
First. No.
Oh man, I have, and it just blows my mind. What? No, that's just how they communicate with us because they don't know yet.
Because they don't know any better. They just cry. That's funny.
Their eyesight is not very good yet when they're first born. They can only see like 8 to 10 inches away from them.
Yeah.
So that's like the distance of like breastfeeding. When you're holding the baby at the breast, they can see your face. That's about as like the farthest they can see when they're first born.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
But
it makes sense because they didn't need to use it before that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So then by 1 month, they may start to respond to familiar sounds and noises that they recognize.
Yeah.
And they may notice faces more. So this is when they might like start looking up at you and making some faces, and you're like, oh, is that a smile? It's not really a social smile yet, but it's kind of just like
it's maybe gas.
It could be gas. It could be slowly starting the process of seeing the faces and starting the mimicking.
Yeah.
But they're more like they're noticing the things around them.
Yeah, they are a little bit more aware.
Yeah.
My favorite is when babies like, well, at this point, I believe they're still like cross-eyed. My daughter was
Can be.
really cross-eyed. It was so funny. But this is when like they're just like fascinated by everything.
Yeah.
And their eyes just wander and it's just the cutest thing ever. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah, because they can only focus on like so far in front of them.
Yeah, I
It's
know.
easy for them to be cross-eyed. Yeah, it doesn't mean they'll be like that for their whole life when they're like that at first.
No, but it's funny because, yeah,
Yeah,
they just look ridiculous. But
you're right. They do.
it's really funny. I found a picture of Sophie and she looks so cross-eyed and like, oh man, it was so funny. I just laugh sometimes. I showed her, I was like, this is you.
That's so
You were
cute.
cross-eyed. Yeah, it is cute.
They a lot of people will tell you, including your doctor or midwife or whatever you have,
Yeah,
that you also need to be doing tummy time with your baby,
yeah,
which can be done a few different ways. You put them down on a mat or a blanket on their tummy. You put them on your chest and you lean backwards, as long as they're
yeah,
on their tummy, to facilitate holding their head up. And
yeah,
around 2 months is when most babies will start to kind of lift their head more than like a few seconds. Because a lot of babies, when they're first born, they will lift their head like right away, but then it goes right back down.
yeah.
They go lift it up and then it has to go back down.
Yeah, you still gotta watch because they're really flimsy.
Yeah. But around 2 months is when a lot of babies tend to do it more often during tummy time.
Yeah.
And they may start to actually have this smiles that they're mimicking and stuff now at this point.
It's so cute.
When they start smiling, it is the cutest thing ever.
It's seriously the cutest.
Yeah. At 2 months, they're also going to be comforted by touch. They're going to recognize faces, not just noticing, but they're going to recognize. So they'll know
Don't
mom's
know. Yeah.
face, they'll know dad's face, maybe
Yeah.
siblings' face that they're around all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Then by 3 months, they're going to start to open and close their hands. And they're going to start noticing, oh, I can move this, which is really
Mm-hmm.
cute when they can start doing that.
It is cute.
And 3 months, they'll start following objects with their eyes.
Yeah.
So even like your finger, if they're looking at your finger, they might like turn their head following
Yeah.
your finger. This is when they tend to like the mobiles on top of the cribs that a lot of people use.
Yeah. It's
Did you
cute.
ever did you ever have any of those? You didn't do a crib, did you?
So I did a crib with Ben.
Okay. Yeah.
We had a mobile. But like I don't remember. I mean he wasn't in there a lot.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we didn't really remember that part, but
Yeah. I
yeah.
used them on like the standstill ones that are on the playpens,
Mm-hmm.
or play yards, some people call them. So it doesn't have a battery that moves it, but it's there. I can move it. That's all I ever
Yeah.
use. But I know some people that do it lots, and their babies will stay calm and just lay there and just follow it with their eyes.
Mesmerized, yeah.
Yeah. Which is pretty cute.
Moments of silence.
Yeah. Anything that you can take, right?
Mm-hmm.
3
Absolutely.
months, babies might like to start to kind of play with others. I mean, their play looks a little different still at this point, but because they're starting to recognize people and smile and stuff, they'll be a little bit more interactive.
Yeah.
And then 4 months, some babies around this time will start to teeth. I mean, this varies greatly too. It could be a lot earlier, it could be a lot later.
Yeah.
4 months, they might start to hold their head up completely unsupported. which is pretty cool when that starts to happen, because then you're not so stressed out about people
Yeah.
holding them the right way, or that where you have to hold their head in and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. If anyone's watching, you can see Jacqueline has her dog in her sweater right now, cuddling up.
It's my baby. We're talking about babies. Oh, yes.
Cute.
Funny.
4 months is also when babies might start to chuckle, like not a full laugh, but like
I
starting
know. That's the
like a
cutest
couple
thing
little
ever.
noises of laugh. Yeah, it is really cute.
It's the cutest thing ever.
5 months is when a lot of babies start to babble.
Yeah.
So they're not making actual sound, like actual words of any kind, but it's like baby talk, we call it.
Yes. Goo goo gaga.
Yeah. They're basically just copying sounds that they hear.
Yeah.
And they may start to actually differentiate between different colors at this point too. And then 6 months. So now we're at half a year. They begin to sit up.
Oh, that's my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
It's so sweet.
It is. It's nice because then you can just sit them down and they can sit instead of worrying about, oh, I got to lay them down here somewhere safe.
I know. That is true.
And then they'll roll. They'll start to roll around this time too. So they're sitting up, kind of supported at first, and then they go unsupported later. So that usually they roll from their stomach to their back first.
Yeah.
Which is another reason tummy time is so important.
Yeah.
And they may reach for toys that are in front of them or around them and start placing them in their mouth for that.
Yeah, that's a fun time.
This is when you need to make sure you don't have extra stuff that's not baby safe laying around.
Yes, because they will put it in their mouth. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. Their feet usually. Don't they do that? Like at that age?
Their feet?
They put their feet. They like to take their feet. And,
yeah. Yeah, a lot of babies will do that too. That's true.
Yeah, my babies definitely did that.
It is cute though when they do it. I mean, if we did that as an adult, it would not be so cute.
That would be weird.
But for some reason, when babies do it, it's like, oh, that's so cute.
Oh, that's so adorable. I know. It's the best when babies do everything. It's so sweet.
It's even kind of like that with baby farts. It's like, oh, that was the cutest little fart ever. And then an adult farts, you're like, you're disgusting.
I know. It's true. Go have some food. No, it's so true. So cute.
And they often, around 6 months, will also like to look at their own reflection in the mirror.
Oh, yeah. I remember
Which is
that.
fun, too. You just hold them in front of a mirror and they like interact with themselves. Touching them.
Yeah, they do. It's so cute.
Yeah.
So precious. They learn so much in a short amount of time.
They do, because you think of all of this that we just mentioned. That's half a year.
It's a blur. Yeah, for real. It really is.
So 7 months, they start noticing that there's a reaction to things that happen, and they might start dropping things on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the fun time, because usually around 6 months is when most people begin to give food to their babies. And so now at this point, like 7 months ish, give or take,
drop it on the floor.
You'll give them some food and they just put it on the floor, or they have their sippy cup or their bottle and they just drop it on the floor. You pick it up, they drop it on the floor.
They think it's the best game ever.
They do.
It's pretty cute.
This is them in their mind. They're learning, oh, every time I do this, mom picks that up. I'm going to see if it happens again. They drop it.
Right.
Oh, mom picks it up. Let's try it again.
Oh, let's try it again. And then we just do it all day long. And then we're like, what did you do today? What did you do today? Just basically clean up everything off the floor that my baby threw.
Yeah, exactly.
Story of our life.
That is true. They'll also start to copy sounds and gestures that we do.
Yeah.
So this is when some babies might start to, yeah, make clicking noises. They might start to clap their hands. They might,
Mm-hmm.
um, I don't know. If you have any silly things that you do, they might start copying that.
Yeah, they do. It's really funny.
And they can start to find partially hidden objects. So before, set like around the 7-month-ish mark, you have, I don't know, a ball and it's like a blanket partially on it. They don't really recognize that it's hidden there. They just
Yeah.
don't see it. Around this point, they start to see, oh, it looks like there might be something there. And then they'll reach for it and they'll grab it out.
Yeah.
So then around 8 months, again, this is give or take, like some are earlier, some are later.
Mm-hmm.
Many babies will begin to crawl.
Yeah.
Crawling phase is fun. I
Yeah,
mean,
it is fun.
there's good and bad to it.
I know. Yeah, for sure. Mine
And
were early.
yeah,
It was good times.
when they start to crawl, you can't exactly just put them down and feel like they're safe anymore because now everywhere's a playground.
Everywhere. Yeah. And they'll get into everything.
Yeah. But they're usually a lot happier when they start crawling because they can get to where they want to go on their own.
Get on their own. Yeah.
But
More independence.
yeah, exactly. There are different ways that babies will begin to crawl too, though.
Oh my gosh, my sister's kid, I never will forget this. She looked like a gorilla, so she would like scoot and she would like pull her arm and she'd go like this. And she would scoot around the whole entire house. And I remember the first time I saw it, I was laughing so hard because she looked like a gorilla.
Like she's scooting on her bum with her and
Yeah,
using her
with her hands like a gorilla would. Like, oh my gosh, it was so funny. I'd never seen that before.
That is really funny.
Or you have bum scooters.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, so funny. They all do
And
different things.
yeah, and some just like to do like the army crawl for a long time, and they're happy enough. My first, he liked to roll. He would just roll around the room. So I saw him crawl. He would crawl small distances, but it's like he didn't like it as much because he wasn't as fast. So he would just roll. So he saw a toy on the other side of the room. He would just roll over and over again like a log to the other side of the room. He'd grab the toy and he'd hold it and then he'd roll back.
That's hilarious.
It was the funniest thing ever.
Oh gosh, that's hilarious.
And some kids will crawl backwards first before they start crawling forwards too.
Yeah, I know. They all do different things. It's so entertaining.
And one way's not
So
right
cute.
or wrong. It's just whatever they end up learning first.
Yeah, it's true. So funny.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So what else? 8 months is around the time when they'll start to learn to lean over to pick up toys.
Mhm.
So if they're sitting up, they can lean over. If you're holding them, they might reach down
To get their toys,
yeah, to grab it. And remember, toys don't necessarily mean something you bought from the store. Anything can really be a toy for a baby.
Yeah, remote.
Yeah.
Scissors. They try everything.
Anything that's in their reach. This is why you have to baby proof.
You have to baby proof
Or
because they
you just
will
have to
get
be really diligent
everything.
and watching and like, don't touch, not that, no, please.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like the baby proofing method better.
Yeah, me too. Absolutely. So funny.
So then we come to 9 months. And again, some kids are already past a lot of these things. They started earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And some will like not even be quite crawling yet at this point. But again, this is the general.
Yeah.
So 9 months, they will sit up completely unassisted, with no help of any kind anymore. They'll
Mm-hmm.
start pointing at things that they want. This is fun because they can't talk yet, but they're communicating with you as like pointing, I want that kind of, right?
Yeah, it's so cute.
Um, they'll recognize their own name,
Yeah.
which is super cute when they start doing that.
Mm-hmm. It is super cute. They'll know you're calling their name.
Yeah, exactly.
So
And
cute.
they will start to understand object permanence, which means something is underneath this blanket. It's not gone. It's still there. Whereas
Yeah.
before this, it's like they didn't see it. Oh, it's just gone. But now they know, oh, it's still there. So this is when peekaboo is really fun because now they don't think that you actually left the room and left them all alone. Now they know you're just playing a game.
Yeah. That is true too.
Yeah. So
No
that's
tears.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's cute.
exactly. 10 months is when most babies will develop a really good pincer grasp. Again, some are a lot earlier. This is when they can pick things up with their thumb and their pointer finger,
Mm-hmm.
and they just pick things up that way instead of like their whole entire hand.
Yeah.
And this is also around the time where 10-ish months, where a lot of babies will start to develop separation anxiety, which can be really difficult.
Mm-hmm. That one is not easy
Mm-hmm. It is kind of hard to
to deal with.
handle. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Especially if moms have to go to work.
Yeah.
That is really difficult.
Yeah.
Yep.
But most
The
often
learning.
they do stop crying like fairly quickly after you leave. It's just like
Yeah.
right away that initial like drop off, needing to leave baby with somebody else. They'll
Yeah.
cry
They
and
know
cry,
it's
and you'll
you.
feel
Yeah.
so heartbroken.
Yeah. I don't want to leave.
But then when you go, usually they're fine.
Yeah.
And then when you come back, they're going to cry immediately when they see you. So you're going to think in your mind, oh, they've just been crying
Oh.
this whole time, my baby. But usually they don't.
Yeah.
That is the one comforting thing.
Absolutely.
So then now that leads us to 11 months. At this point, babies can crawl upstairs. I mean, you still need to supervise them just in case, but a
Yeah.
lot of babies will begin to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And they can make sounds with tonal changes. So, like, sounds more like speech. So, instead of us speaking monotone, we go up and down. And they'll do the
Yeah.
same with the noises that they make now at this point.
Yeah.
And by a year, they will, if they haven't already, they'll start pulling themselves up to standing and start walking.
Mm-hmm.
Again, some babies are like months before this. Some babies are a few months after still. It's
Absolutely.
all
All
normal.
different.
Yeah. Around 12 months is when a lot of babies will start calling you mama or dada,
Mm-hmm.
actually using your name. Oh, that is like the best
Mm-hmm.
sound ever.
Mm-hmm.
They'll use basic gestures, like they'll do waving and shaking their head
Yeah.
and maybe high fives, those kinds of things.
Yeah.
And they'll start using things correctly, like a toothbrush. They'll start actually trying to
Putting
move.
it in their mouth. Yeah.
They might bite it still, but they recognize that it goes in the mouth to brush your teeth, or they might be able to use a cup now at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Recognizing how to do that, using
Mm-hmm.
a fork or spoon, those kinds of things.
Yeah. That's cute. They
Yeah,
develop so much in their first year of life. They really do.
they totally do. That's a lot of things if you think about it.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
They learn so many things. And it goes by so fast. Like, I'm just trying to remember. With my first, it's crazy. Like, he'll be 10 in April, and it's hard to remember.
Yeah.
when, like I remember he walked at 10 months. It was like he started taking steps, but didn't fully start walking until he was just for one. And then my daughter, she was 8 months, which was nuts. And then Lorelai was like around 10. So everyone is so different.
Yeah.
All of mine were different with speech and everything too. I would say like around like one is when they start saying some things, but they still don't talk a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot does happen. I mean, when she turned two, it was like crazy. She just started talking so much, and yeah, they just learn at their own pace. And we just, yeah, you can't really have like a timeline. Just
Yeah.
because your baby's not doing something does not mean they're not capable and that they're not going to do it.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I think I read somewhere that like Einstein, like a brilliant man that people like most people know,
yeah.
he didn't speak until like 4 years old. Like they actually thought that he couldn't. They thought he was dumb.
What?
Yeah. But he was actually like he obviously a brilliant man.
Yeah.
And his parents thought that he was actually dumb.
And then, wow, that's crazy.
And then he just started talking, but it's just everyone has kind of their own pace, right? Like you said.
Absolutely. You can't go off of somebody. Yeah. Everyone does it at the same time. And
I think the biggest thing to watch is just making sure there's no regression, like going backwards, where, oh, my baby was sitting up and all of a sudden now they can't sit up anymore.
yeah.
Like that kind of thing. That's something that
Yeah.
you would need to go see a doctor about because that would be a little worrisome.
Yeah. Totally.
But as long as they're continuing to slowly learn new things over time, the
Yeah.
exact month that they do it, it's not a big deal.
No. As long as they're just continuing to grow.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And not go backwards, like you said.
Yeah,
Yep. And if you have any concerns, go to your healthcare provider and
yeah,
just be safe. And yeah,
it's true.
that's it.
And making sure we don't get caught in the comparison trap.
Oh gosh, all the
That's
time.
a lot of moms, I think, struggle with, especially when it's your first baby.
Mm-hmm.
And if you know other moms who have children like similar ages, it's so easy to be like, oh, well, their baby's doing that and mine's not. Or, oh, mine's
Yeah.
doing this and theirs isn't yet, when really it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Yeah. Eventually they'll understand and they'll do it, but it's at their own
Yeah,
time.
different personalities.
Oh gosh, they all have different personalities.
Yeah. And
No kid is the same.
Yeah, I would definitely say if you want to have memories to look back at and say, oh, my child did this at this point or this age or whatever, make sure you keep track of it somewhere. So have a baby book, have a scrapbook, have a lot of people now do the pictures where they have the baby on the blanket and they have all the milestones or whatever, or milestones on a board beside the baby. Something,
Yeah.
because if you don't keep track of it like that, you will not remember.
You will forget. And
Yeah.
I've said I'd do a baby book for my son and for all my kids, and none of them have one.
That's the other thing. Make sure that you are committed if you're going to do it.
Like for real. I've been saying this to you forever. Like years.
It's true. I
Yeah,
started
it's true.
a baby book for my first. So I have a lot of his, I think most of, or maybe his whole first year. And then I stopped. And then my second, I have like a few things here and there when I remember. My third and fourth didn't get anything. I felt kind of bad.
But that's the truth though, because we're just so busy and like we're not thinking that, right?
Yeah. So every time I have a baby, I'm like, I think the others were already doing it at this point, or maybe they weren't. I don't know.
All the
But
time I'm like, I just don't remember.
like, whatever. They'll do it when they do it.
Yeah, exactly. And hopefully you remember a few things, when they lost their first when they got their first tooth and when they lost their first tooth. And it's hard to remember it all though, because there's too many things.
There is.
It just hurts your head.
And I have too many kids now to keep up with that. So.
Oh my gosh, I have 3 and it's enough. I can't imagine. Yeah, 5.
And
It's
I'm
a lot.
bacon number 5 here.
Yeah. Yeah, number 5. You
Yeah.
have what? 4 months left? 4.5?
I'm halfway, exactly halfway right now.
Wow. And I just had my first client, and she had a baby on the weekend, a little boy, and it was such a cool
Yeah.
experience.
Because your last one was just postpartum hours. This was the actual.
Yeah, this was the actual thing, and it was so cool.
Yeah.
It was amazing. And I'm just like, I don't care about childcare. I'll figure it out. I want to do it again.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's so
So,
worth it. Birth is such a beautiful thing.
so worth it. So much so that she said the way I supported her, she was like, I want to do this.
That's cute.
So, yeah. And that's what you want is you want to support the mother and the father so that, yeah, they feel super supported. And how amazing is it that, my client wants to actually become one now. So it's neat.
Yeah, that is true.
Doulas do a lot. It's awesome. We like
Yeah.
to support mamas and dads too. So,
Yeah, whether it's birth or postpartum.
yeah, totally.
And I'm more of a postpartum
Yes.
doula type person right now. But it's just the phase of life that I'm in.
Yeah, exactly. And eventually you'll get to do it too.
Yeah, exactly.
We
Well,
all have different times.
yeah, exactly. So that was a lot that we went through.
Well, yeah, we hope you learned something.
Yeah, exactly. So if you haven't already, make sure you follow, subscribe, and like. It means a lot
Yes.
to us. And we hope you were able to learn something.
Yes, absolutely.
Mhm.
Until next time.
What the
The
mom?
mom